Final update. My fiancé secretly planned to dump me after our wedding and take half of everything. He's just a temporary husband, she joked with her friends. I just smiled and let her think she had won, until she saw what was really in the prenup. Part 3. Vanessa nodded yes. I think it's for the best, Jonathan said, tapping a paper. In that case, we'll begin with the terms outlined in the prenuptial agreement you signed before marriage. For the first time, Vanessa's smug confidence wavered. Wait, she said slowly, Proop. Jonathan barely glanced up. Yes, the legally binding prenuptial agreement you signed before the wedding will be followed exactly. The room was silent for a moment, then Vanessa laughed. Oh, please. Lucas and I already talked about this. That prenup is just a formality, it doesn't actually mean anything. Jonathan raised an eyebrow. Oh, it absolutely does. Then he turned to page 1 and started reading. As per the signed prenuptial agreement, Jonathan said, his voice steady, if Mrs. Carter initiates a divorce, she will receive no financial compensation, assets, or spousal support from Mr. Carter. Vanessa's smile froze. Jonathan continued unbothered. Furthermore, due to the infidelity and financial fraud clauses, her head snapped up. Excuse me, what? Jonathan barely blinked. Any proven intent to manipulate, deceive, or defraud Mr. Carter in financial matters results in a penalty payment owed to Mr. Carter. I leaned forward, resting my chin on my hands. Vanessa, you really should have read the fine print. Vanessa's face drained of color, her hands clenched the armrests of her chair, nails digging into the leather. No, she whispered. This has to be a joke. Jonathan remained stone-faced. Not at all. In fact, it's legally binding, and your signature is on every page. Vanessa turned to me, her eyes wide with shock. Lucas, babe, we need to talk about this privately. I tilted my head. Why? I thought you didn't love me. I thought I was just a temporary husband. Her breathing turned erratic. That was just girl talk, it didn't mean anything. Jonathan cleared his throat, flipping another page. Actually, it did. Thanks to Mr. Carter's private investigation, we have chat logs, recordings, and evidence proving your intent to commit financial fraud. Vanessa gasped. You spied on me. She shrieked. Oh, relax, I said, mimicking her usual dismissive tone. It was just a formality. I trust you remember? Her hands were shaking now, she frantically turned to Jonathan. This can't be legal. I'll fight this in court. Jonathan didn't even blink. You're welcome to try. You'd be wasting your time and money, especially since, per the agreement, you're required to cover all legal fees for both parties in the event of a challenge. She looked like she was about to be sick. I could see it in her eyes, reality was finally sinking in. She wasn't getting half, she wasn't getting anything. And worse, she actually owed me money. The next few weeks were glorious. Vanessa tried to fight it, but the prenup was airtight. Her friends found out everything and started roasting her in group chats. She became a joke on social media, exposed as a gold digger who got played. Even her own family turned on her. Her mom called me one night, saying, I raised her better than this. She deserves what she got. That was satisfying, but the best part was the look on her face when she realized she had ruined her own life. Vanessa didn't just lose the divorce settlement, she lost everything. For years, she had carefully curated her image, playing the role of the sophisticated, high-value woman who had her life together. Now she was nothing more than a walking punchline. It started slowly, the first cracks formed when Chelsea and Lauren, her closest friends, dropped her. Not because they were suddenly morally superior, but because nobody likes being associated with a public disaster. Screenshots of her temporary husband texts started circulating among mutual friends, ex-colleagues, and even family. People who once admired her for securing a successful man now mocked her for getting played. Her social media followers plummeted, she became a meme in private group chats. Her friends started joking about how she went from soon-to-be rich to financially ruined overnight. She tried to fight back, posting vague "I'm the real victim here" rants, but nobody was buying it. Even the people who had supported her plan were embarrassed for her, because nobody respects a con artist who fails. The financial fallout hit harder than the social one. She was forced to move out of our luxury apartment and into a tiny rental. Her credit cards were maxed out, her shopping addiction was unfunded. The lifestyle she flaunted online was completely unsustainable. For the first time in years, Vanessa had to actually work. She applied for marketing jobs, but employers Googled her name and what did they find? Screenshots of her scheme, people in professional circles discussing her failed con. Nobody wanted to hire the woman known for trying to scam her husband. So she settled for a low-paying retail job. From brunching at luxury hotels to folding clothes at a mall, it was poetic justice. I hadn't seen Vanessa in months, I didn't think about her, I didn't care. Until one day, I walked into a coffee shop, and there she was, sitting alone. She looked different, the confidence gone, the smugness replaced with exhaustion. She had aged 10 years and 6 months. She saw me, and for a moment, I could tell she debated running. Instead, she gave a weak, defeated smile. Lucas, hey, Vanessa said, hesitating, then sighing. I deserved it, didn't I? I took a slow sip of my coffee, then set it down. Yes. Her eyes shone with unshed tears. I lost everything, she said. No, I corrected her. You threw everything away. She swallowed hard, trembling. I thought I was being smart, she admitted. I held up a hand. I don't care. She flinched. I just wanted to apologize, she whispered. I met her gaze, calm, unforgiving, and unmoved. You're not sorry, I said. You're just regretting the consequences. She blinked rapidly, fighting back tears. I stood up, throwing a few bills on the table. Good luck, Vanessa. And I walked away, because I was finally free.